The 9-year-old boy struggled with his wheelchair, hands shaking from cerebral palsy. The massive biker was overheating, motorcycle smoking, clearly in distress. Most people would have stayed inside, but Tommy wasn't most people. He filled his only cup, a Mickey Mouse glass, treasured birthday gift, with cold water, rolled his wheelchair awkwardly across the dirt yard. "Sir, you look hot. Want water? It's all I have, but you can drink it." The biker stared at this disabled child, offering his only possession to a stranger. 3 days later, 250 motorcycles appeared at Tommy's trailer. They'd come to honor the purest act of generosity they'd ever witnessed. If this story touches your heart, please like and share. Kindness has no disability. Tommy Sullivan was 9 years old and his body didn't work right. Cerebral palsy, born with it. His legs were weak, twisted. His hands shook constantly. He used a wheelchair, beat-up manual one from Goodwill. Walking was possible with leg braces and crutches, but painful and exhausting. He lived with his grandmother Dorothy in a trailer park outside Bakersfield, California. Dorothy was 68, worked 2 jobs, cleaning houses during the day, office buildings at night, made $400 monthly, barely enough. Tommy's parents were gone, drug addicts, meth. They'd abandoned him when he was 4. Dorothy took him in, raised him alone, did her best. Life was hard. Kids at school bullied Tommy mercilessly. Cripple, retard, useless. They refused to play with him, laughed at his shaking hands, mocked his wheelchair. Teachers tried to stop it, but kids are cruel when adults aren't watching. Tommy coped by being kind. "If I'm mean back, I'm like them," he told Dorothy. "I'd rather be different." He spent afternoons in the small dirt yard outside their trailer, watching life pass by, waving at people. Most ignored him. Some waved back. August 14th, 2024. Temperature hit 108 degrees. Brutal heat. Dangerous. Tommy was outside at 3 p.m. Dorothy was at work. Tommy was used to being alone. He had water, snacks, his phone for emergencies. At 3:15 he heard a motorcycle, loud, struggling. It pulled over in front of his trailer, stopped, engine smoking. A man dismounted, huge, 6'4", maybe 290, leather vest, tattoos covering his arms, beard to his chest. Hell's Angels patch on his back. The man was clearly in distress, sweating profusely, face red, stumbling slightly, heat exhaustion, maybe worse. Most kids would have been scared. This was a Hell's Angel, dangerous, criminal. Tommy saw a human in trouble. He maneuvered his wheelchair to the garden hose, turned it on. Filled his Mickey Mouse cup, his favorite possession, Dorothy's birthday gift, with cold water. Rolling across the dirt yard was difficult. His hands shook. The wheelchair was old, but Tommy pushed forward. "Sir?" His voice was small. "You look really hot. Want some water? It's all I have, but you can drink it." The biker turned. Saw a 9-year-old in a wheelchair, hands shaking, holding out a plastic cup, offering help. "Kid, yeah, thank you. I'm dying here." He took the cup, drank deeply. The cold water was salvation. "You okay, sir?" "I am now, thanks to you. What's your name?" Tommy Sullivan." "I'm Hammer." "Thank you, Tommy. You might have saved my life. I've been riding 3 hours in this heat. Stupid. Should have stopped for water. But I was late for a brother's funeral, pushed too hard. I'm sorry about your friend." Hammer was struck by this kid's compassion. "Thank you. Can I ask, why help me? Most people cross the street when they see my vest." Tommy smiled. "I know what it's like to need help and not get it. Happens to me every day at school. So when I see someone needing help, I always try, even if I can't do much. At least I try." Hammer felt something break inside. This disabled child, who had every reason to be bitter, was offering kindness to a stranger. Pure generosity. "Tommy, how old are you?" 9. "You're wiser than most adults I know. Thank you. Really, you're a good kid." "Thank you, sir. Hope you get to your friend okay." Hammer got back on his bike, waved, rode away, but he couldn't stop thinking about Tommy. That kid, disabled, poor, bullied, still kind, still generous. That night at the funeral gathering, Hammer told the story. Brothers, today a 9-year-old kid in a wheelchair saved me from heat stroke, gave me water, his only cup, didn't know me, didn't fear me, just saw someone needing help and helped. That's honor, pure honor. The president, Reaper 62, listened carefully. Where's this kid live? Sundown Trailer Park, outside Bakersfield. We owe him. What's his situation? Poor, lives with grandmother, cerebral palsy, bullied at school, hard life but generous spirit. Reaper nodded. We honor, always. I'm calling every chapter in Central California. We're responding to this kid properly. Within 24 hours, Reaper had contacted 15 Hells Angels chapters across Central California, told Tommy's story, asked for support. Every chapter responded, "We're in. What does he need?" Reaper and Hammer visited the trailer park. Discreetly, observed Tommy, talked to neighbors. "That boy's an angel," one neighbor said. "Always smiling, always kind. His grandma works herself to death trying to provide. They struggle, but they're good people." "What does Tommy need?" Reaper asked. "Everything. Better wheelchair. His current one barely works. Medical care. His cerebral palsy needs therapy he can't afford. Transportation. Dorothy can't drive him places in her old car. It's not wheelchair accessible. Money for basics. And protection. Kids at school torment him." Reaper made a list, then made calls. To chapters, to allies, to donors. Tommy Sullivan is 9. Disabled, poor, bullied. He saved Hammer's life with a cup of water. We're honoring that. I need funds, equipment, commitments. Who's helping? Money poured in. 20,000 in the first day, then 30, then 50. "Hold at 50, Reaper instructed. "We're getting wheelchair, adaptive van, medical fund and protection guarantee. That's comprehensive response." They coordinated with medical suppliers. "Got top-of-the-line motorized wheelchair, $8,500, fully customizable, perfect for Tommy." An ally who owned a dealership donated a used 2023 Honda Odyssey. The Angels paid for adaptive modifications, hydraulic lift, hand controls for Dorothy. Total value, $45,000. The remaining $50,000 went into medical fund, for therapy, doctor visits, whatever Tommy needed. But Reaper wanted more. "That kid's bullied. We're stopping that permanently." He drafted a letter. "Tommy Sullivan is under permanent protection of the Hells Angels. Any person who bullies, harms, or discriminates against him will answer directly to us. This is non-negotiable." Every member of every participating chapter signed it. 250 signatures, official, binding. 3 days after Hammer met Tommy, the mobilization was ready. August 17th, 7 a.m. Dorothy woke to a sound she'd never heard. Deep rumbling, growing, shaking the trailer. She looked outside, gasped. The trailer park entrance was filled with motorcycles. Hundreds, all Hells Angels, lined perfectly, engines idling. Tommy rolled to the window in his wheelchair. "Grandma, what's happening?" "I don't know, baby." Hammer and Reaper approached the trailer. Knocked gently. Dorothy opened the door, terrified. "Can I help you?" "Ma'am, I'm Reaper. President Hells Angels Bakersfield chapter. This is Hammer. 3 days ago, your grandson Tommy saved his life, gave him water when he was suffering heat stroke. We're here to thank him. Properly. Is Tommy available?" Yes. Tommy." Tommy rolled to the door, saw Hammer. "Hi, Mr. Hammer. Your motorcycle working okay?" Hammer knelt down. "Better than okay, Tommy, thanks to you. Can you come outside? We have something for you." Outside, 250 bikers stood at attention, respectful, silent. Reaper addressed Tommy. "Son, 3 days ago you performed an act of pure generosity. You gave Hammer water, your only cup, when he needed it. You asked nothing in return. You just helped. That's honor, real honor. We honor, always. So we're here to respond properly." He gestured. Bikers brought forward a gleaming motorized wheelchair. State-of-the-art, customizable, perfect. "This is yours, top of the line. You'll never struggle with manual chair again." Tommy's eyes filled with tears. "I can't accept." "You can and will. There's more." A Honda Odyssey drove up. "This van is for your grandmother, fully modified. Hydraulic lift for your chair. She can transport you anywhere. No more struggling." Dorothy collapsed against the trailer, crying. "This is too much." "It's not enough," Reaper said firmly. "There's more. We've established a medical fund, $50,000 for therapy, doctor visits, whatever Tommy needs. It's his." He handed Dorothy an envelope. "Bank account information. Funds are available immediately." Then he handed Tommy a document. "This is official letter, signed by all 250 of us. You're under our protection. Permanently. Anyone who bullies you, harms you, or discriminates against you answers to us. You're family now. Forever." Tommy read the letter, started sobbing. "Why? I just gave you water." Hammer knelt beside him. "Tommy, you have every reason to be bitter. You're disabled, abandoned by parents, bullied, poor, but you chose kindness. When you saw me suffering, you helped, with your only possession. That's the purest generosity I've ever seen. You taught us what honor really means. We're just responding." Dorothy hugged Tommy, both crying. 250 bikers stood silently, honoring this moment. News spread instantly. 250 Hells Angels honor disabled boy who gave water. The story went viral, national coverage. Reporters came to the trailer park. "Tommy, how do you feel?" "Blessed, grateful. I just gave someone water. They gave me everything. I don't deserve—" Hammer interrupted. "You deserve more than we can ever give. You showed us what generosity looks like. We're honored to know you." The public response was overwhelming. Donations poured in. People inspired by Tommy's kindness wanted to help. "Give it to other kids like me," Tommy instructed. "Other disabled kids who need help. I have enough now." They don't. The Hells Angels established Tommy's Fund, helping disabled children across California. Equipment, medical care, support, funded by Tommy's story, inspiring generosity. At school, everything changed. The Hells Angels protection letter was displayed prominently. Kids who'd bullied Tommy apologized. "We're sorry. We were mean. We didn't understand." "It's okay," Tommy said. "You understand now. That's what matters." Teachers noticed the transformation. Tommy's confidence has soared. He's thriving, participating, making friends. The Angels' support changed everything. 6 months later, Tommy was excelling. His new wheelchair gave him mobility and independence. Physical therapy improved his strength. He made friends, joined clubs, lived fully. "I'm happy," he told Dorothy. "Really happy. For the first time ever," Dorothy cried. "You deserve happiness, baby. You've always been so good, so kind, even when life was hard." At 1 year, the Hells Angels held a celebration. Anniversary of Tommy's kindness. 500 people attended. Bikers, community members, disabled children helped by Tommy's fund. Tommy addressed the crowd. "1 year ago, I gave someone water. I didn't think about it, just did it. That simple act changed my life. The Hells Angels responded with overwhelming generosity, but they also taught me something. Kindness multiplies. When you help someone, they help others. Those others help more. It never stops. My 1 cup of water created this." He gestured at the crowd. "Hundreds of people helping disabled kids. That's amazing." 500 people applauded, understanding the ripple effect one act of kindness creates. At 5 years, Tommy was 14, thriving, honor student, athlete, wheelchair basketball, youth advocate for disabled rights. "I speak because the Hells Angels gave me confidence," he told audiences. "They showed me I matter, that my disability doesn't define me, that I can contribute, make a difference, help others. I'm living that lesson." Tommy's fund had helped over 2,000 disabled children by this point. $5 million raised and distributed. All because one 9-year-old offered water to a stranger. At 10 years, Tommy was 19, college student, engineering major, still advocating for disabled rights, still working with the Hells Angels. "They're my family," he told reporters. "They saved me, not just financially, emotionally. They gave me value when society said I was worthless." I'll never forget that. Hammer, now 64 and retired from active riding, visited Tommy regularly. "You changed us, kid, made us better. We were tough guys helping each other. You taught us to help everyone, especially the vulnerable. That's your gift to us. At 15 years, Tommy graduated college, engineering degree. Job offers from major companies. Bright future. Dorothy, now 83, cried at graduation, "I'm so proud. You overcame everything. Disability, poverty, bullying. You thrived because you stayed kind. I learned from you, Grandma. You worked 2 jobs to support me, never complained, always gave. I'm just following your example." At 20 years, Tommy was 29, successful engineer, married, father of a daughter, born healthy, no cerebral palsy. "I'm blessed beyond measure," he told the Hells Angels at the 20th anniversary celebration, "all because I offered water to a stranger. That act changed everything, taught me that kindness matters, that small gestures create big consequences, that generosity multiplies." 250 bikers stood, some original members, mostly new generation, all committed to Tommy's values. "You taught us honor," Reaper, now 82, told Tommy. "Real honor, not toughness, not violence, kindness, generosity, helping vulnerable people. That's our mission now, because of you." Small acts create infinite ripples. Tommy proved it. The Hells Angels honored it. Thousands benefited from it forever. If this story touches your heart, please like and share. Kindness has no disability. At 30 years, Tommy stood before Congress, testifying on behalf of the Americans with Disabilities Act expansion. His voice was strong, confident, powerful. "I'm here because 21 years ago I offered water to a stranger. That stranger, a Hells Angel named Hammer, responded by mobilizing his entire community to transform my life. I went from bullied, impoverished, struggling child to successful engineer, husband, father, and advocate, all because one act of kindness was honored properly." He paused, looking at the assembled representatives. "But millions of disabled Americans don't get that chance. They struggle without support, without community, without hope. We need systems that provide what the Hells Angels provided me: immediate, comprehensive, life-changing support. That's what this legislation does. I urge you to pass it." The bill passed unanimously. Tommy's Law, expanding disability services nationwide, providing equipment, medical care, and support to children with disabilities. "You changed federal policy," Hammer told Tommy afterward. Now 75, Hammer had become Tommy's closest friend and mentor over 2 decades. "That cup of water keeps creating ripples because you honored it properly. You taught me that small acts matter. I'm just living that lesson." Tommy's fund had grown exponentially. 30 years of operation. Over 15,000 disabled children helped, $75 million distributed, countless lives transformed. "We're successful because we remember our foundation," Tommy told the board. "One cup of water, one generous act from a struggling child, that purity guides everything we do. We help kids who have nothing but still give. That's our mission." At 35 years, Dorothy passed away, 93 years old. Peaceful death at home. Surrounded by Tommy, his wife Rachel, their 3 children, and 20 Hells Angels keeping vigil. Her last words were to Tommy, "I'm so proud. You took a hard life and created beauty. You stayed kind even when the world was cruel. That's my legacy through you. Thank you for being my greatest joy." Tommy held her hand as she slipped away. "Thank you for everything, Grandma. For raising me, for working 2 jobs, for showing me what love looks like. I'm everything I am because of you." Dorothy's funeral drew 2,000 people. The Hells Angels rode in full formation, honoring the woman who'd raised the boy, who'd taught them about true generosity. Dorothy Sullivan worked herself to exhaustion providing for Tommy, Reaper, now 92, said at the service. She never complained, never quit, never stopped loving. She raised a boy who changed the world. That's her legacy. We honor it forever. At 40 years, Tommy received the Presidential Medal of Freedom, recognized for his advocacy work and the impact of Tommy's fund. "Tommy Sullivan represents the best of humanity," the president said, As a disabled child living in poverty, he chose kindness over bitterness. He offered water to a stranger. That act inspired a movement that's helped over 30,000 disabled children, changed federal policy, transformed how society views disability. He proved that limitation is circumstantial, not defining. We honor him today. But more importantly, we honor the choice he made at 9 years old to help someone in need despite his own struggles. Tommy's acceptance speech was brief. I'm accepting this for every disabled child who's been told they're worthless. You're not. You matter. Your contributions matter. Your kindness matters. Don't let anyone convince you otherwise. I was that bullied kid once. Look at me now. Anything is possible when community supports you. Thank you to the Hells Angels for showing me that support, for honoring my small act with overwhelming generosity, for teaching me that kindness multiplies. At 45 years, Hammer passed away, 80 years old, heart failure. Tommy was with him at the end. Thank you, Hammer whispered, for saving my life, for teaching me what really matters, for being the best person I've ever known. Thank you for seeing my kindness and honoring it, for giving me everything, for being my family. I love you. Love you too, kid. Keep doing good. Keep helping others. Keep showing people that disability doesn't limit kindness. Hammer died minutes later. Tommy held his hand, crying, grateful for 25 years of friendship with a man who changed his life. Hammer's funeral drew 5,000 Hells Angels, the largest gathering in club history, all honoring a man who'd recognized kindness and responded appropriately. Tommy gave the eulogy. Hammer saved my life 36 years ago. Not just by accepting my water, by honoring it, by mobilizing his community to transform my circumstances. He saw a disabled child offering kindness and responded with overwhelming generosity. That response changed everything, not just for me, for 30,000 disabled kids helped by Tommy's fund, for millions who learned about kindness through our story. Hammer did that, by choosing to honor. Rest in peace, my friend, my brother, my hero. At 50 years, the 50th anniversary of the Cup of Water was a global event. Tommy's story had transcended borders, inspired movements worldwide. Representatives from 80 countries attended the celebration in Bakersfield, each describing programs inspired by Tommy's kindness. In Germany, we created Tommy Centers, comprehensive support facilities for disabled children. In India, Tommy Scholarships, funding education for impoverished disabled students. In Kenya, Tommy Mobility, providing wheelchairs and adaptive equipment across the continent, all inspired by one 9-year-old offering water to a stranger. Tommy, now 59, addressed the crowd of 10,000. 50 years ago, I gave someone water. I was 9, disabled, poor, bullied. I had every reason to ignore that suffering stranger, but my grandmother taught me kindness, so I helped. That simple act created everything you see today. Hundreds of thousands of disabled children helped worldwide. Federal policy changed, social attitudes transformed, all from one cup of water. But here's what matters most. It wasn't the water. It was the choice to help, despite my own struggles. That's what Hammer honored. That's what the Hells Angels responded to. That's what inspires people. The recognition that generosity isn't about abundance. It's about willingness. You don't need much to help. You just need a generous heart. 10,000 people stood, applauding, understanding. Tommy's fund had helped over 100,000 disabled children across 50 years. $500 million distributed, countless lives transformed. We're measuring success wrong, Tommy told the board. Not by numbers helped, by ripples created. Every child we help goes on to help others. That multiplication is immeasurable. That's the real impact. At 60 years, Tommy retired from engineering, devoted himself full-time to advocacy and Tommy's fund. I've had a blessed life, successful career, beautiful family, financial security, all because the Hells Angels honored my kindness. Now I'm dedicating my remaining years to ensuring other disabled kids get similar opportunities. He traveled constantly, speaking at schools, conferences, government hearings, always with the same message. Disability doesn't limit contribution. Society limits contribution by creating barriers. Remove barriers, support disabled people. Watch them thrive. At 70 years, Tommy published a memoir, The Cup That Changed Everything, How One Act of Kindness Created a Movement. It detailed his story, the Hells Angels' response, and 50 years of impact. The book became international bestseller. Tommy donated all profits to the fund. Hammer taught me that honor requires action, not just words. I'm living that lesson. At 75 years, Tommy received honorary doctorate from Stanford University, recognition for lifetime achievement in disability advocacy. Dr. Sullivan has transformed how the world views disability, the university president said. His work has helped millions, changed policies, saved lives. He did all this because at 9 years old he chose kindness. That choice echoes through decades. We honor him today, but we honor more than him. We honor the choice itself, the decision to help despite personal limitation. That's heroism. At 80 years, Tommy was still active, still advocating. Still running Tommy's Fund, now helping over 50,000 children annually worldwide. People ask when I'll retire, he told his family. Never. This work is my life. Hammer gave me that life by honoring my kindness. I honor him by continuing the work, forever. At 85 years, Tommy's health declined. Cerebral palsy combined with age created complications. He knew his time was limited. He recorded final message for Tommy's Fund. I'm 85. I've lived an extraordinary life, all because I offered water to a stranger 76 years ago. That stranger, Hammer, honored my kindness by mobilizing his community. That response created a movement that's helped over 500,000 disabled children globally. That's the power of honoring honor. That's what I want my legacy to be. Not Tommy Sullivan, the disabled kid, but Tommy Sullivan who showed that kindness matters regardless of circumstance, who proved that generosity multiplies, who demonstrated that small acts create infinite ripples. Thank you to the Hells Angels for teaching me that. Thank you to everyone who's carried this work forward. Keep helping disabled kids. Keep showing them they matter. Keep honoring kindness. That's how we change the world, one cup of water at a time. Tommy passed at 87. Peaceful death at home, surrounded by children, grandchildren, great-grandchildren, and 50 Hells Angels maintaining vigil. His last words, thank you for everything, for honoring my kindness, for showing me I mattered, for teaching me that small acts change the world. I love you all. His funeral drew 20,000 people. Hells Angels from 100 chapters worldwide. Disabled children he'd helped, now adults with their own children, advocates, officials, ordinary people whose lives he'd touched. His grandson Michael gave the eulogy. Grandpa Tommy taught me that limitation is perspective. He had cerebral palsy. Society said he was limited. But he changed the world, helped millions, transformed policies, inspired movements. All because at 9 years old, he chose kindness over bitterness. He offered water to a stranger. That stranger honored him. Together, they created a legacy proving that generosity and gratitude combined create miracles. 20,000 people stood, saluting, honoring, grateful. Tommy was buried beside Dorothy and Hammer, 3 people whose lives had intersected to create extraordinary impact. The headstone, Tommy Sullivan. He offered water to a stranger and changed the world. The Hells Angels established Tommy's Legacy Ride, annual event where thousands of bikers raise money for disabled children. Continuing the work Tommy started. We're doing what Hammer did 78 years ago, the current president explained, honoring kindness, responding to generosity with overwhelming support. That's our mission, Tommy's legacy, forever. Tommy's Fund continued growing. 100 years after that cup of water, it had helped over 2 million disabled children globally, $5 billion distributed, countless lives transformed. Tommy Sullivan proved that disability doesn't limit contribution, historians concluded. He offered water despite his own struggle. That generosity inspired a movement lasting a century. That's transformative impact from one child's kindness. The trailer where Tommy gave Hammer water was preserved. National Historic Site. Millions visited annually. Seeing where one act of kindness changed the world. This is sacred ground, tour guides explained. Here, a 9-year-old disabled boy chose to help a suffering stranger. That choice created ripples still expanding. Stand here, feel the power of one generous act, then go live generously. That's Tommy's lesson. 200 years after the water incident, Tommy's story remained foundational text in ethics and disability studies. Universities taught courses on the Tommy Sullivan effect, how one act of kindness created exponential positive impact. The Hells Angels had fully transformed, once feared outlaws, now respected advocates for vulnerable populations, all traceable to how they'd honored Tommy's kindness. Tommy changed us, members explained, showed us what honor really means. Not violence, not intimidation, kindness, generosity, protecting vulnerable people. That's who we became, who we'll always be, because of him. Tommy's fund had helped over 10 million disabled children across 2 centuries, $20 billion distributed. Global culture transformed to value disabled people's contributions, all from one cup of water, all from one child's kindness, all from one biker's choice to honor that kindness. Tommy's lesson endures. Kindness matters regardless of circumstance. Disability doesn't limit generosity. Small acts create infinite ripples. The Hells Angels lesson endures. Honor, honor always. Respond to kindness with overwhelming support. Transform individual generosity into community movement. Together they prove that generosity meeting gratitude creates miracles. One cup of water, one child's kindness, one biker's honor, one movement lasting centuries. That's Tommy Sullivan's legacy. That's Hammer's tribute. That's the Hells Angels' transformation. That's humanity's potential when kindness meets gratitude, forever remembered, forever honored, forever inspiring. One cup, one act, one changed world. Thank you, Tommy. Thank you, Hammer. Thank you, Hells Angels, for showing us that disability doesn't limit contribution, that kindness always matters, that small acts change everything, forever, one generous heart at a time, one honored act at a time, one transformed life at a time. That's the power. That's the legacy. That's the truth. Never forget it. Never stop being kind. Never stop honoring kindness. Because one cup of water changed the world, and it can happen again. Every time someone chooses generosity, every time someone honors that choice, every time kindness meets gratitude, miracles happen. Tommy proved it. The world lives it forever.